Today's episode of The Real Deal with Damian Adams is brought to you by the 3pointconversion.com, where fans' opinions matter. So if you want the fastest updates on all your sports, I'm talking about basketball, football, hockey, NASCAR, boxing, every sport under the sun, you go to the 3pointconversion.com and follow the 3 Point Conversion on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to get all your sports needs. Thank you for listening to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. This is Real Sports Talk for the Real Sports Fan, and I definitely appreciate you Real Sports fans for listening right now. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you. Please rate and review the podcast by giving us that 5-star rating, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. That 5-star rating and review will definitely be appreciated. If you're listening on a 3 Point Conversion station on Spreaker Radio, where fans' opinions matter, of course we appreciate you. And you want to know what you think of the show, because fans' opinions matter, like we said. So if you think the show can improve, please let me know how the show can improve. But be constructive, because I am a gentle soul. If you think the show is awesome and doesn't need any improvement, let me know that as well. Let me know how good the show is by screaming it out loud and sharing it with your friends, all right? Very excited about today's show. It's just me and you. Just me and you, just me and you. I'm not going to unleash the singing voice too much. I don't want nobody signing me right now. But it's just me and you today. Intimate session. Talking about the NBA playoffs. A little boxing as well. And the name of this show is, or the name of this episode is Time to Put Up or Shut Up. And that's what the playoffs are. The playoffs are a time where either you're putting up or you're going in the corner and you're shutting up. And we're going to start off by talking about Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City Thunder are down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz. And right now they're not putting up. And they're not shutting up. Like they're stuck in the middle somewhere, and you cannot be stuck in the middle. You got to be putting up or you got to be shutting up. And for this series, as I pull out my notes right now, like I said, they're down 3-1. Russell Westbrook is shooting 36.7% from the field. You cannot be out here shooting that type of percentage while talking the trash you're talking about shutting down Ricky Rubio. You need to be focusing on your own game right now. Right now is not the time for you to be focusing on stopping Ricky Rubio from getting a triple-double. You're scoring 21 points per game, but you're shooting a low percentage, getting 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. Now you look at 21, 12, and 8, pretty impressive, but you have to be efficient. Is that coming within the scheme of the team? Is it really helping your team out at all? It's not helping your team out when you get 4 fouls in the first half of Game 4 against Utah. Carmelo Anthony, future Hall of Famer, not playing like it. He's playing like somebody who's already in the Hall of Fame who retired like 3 years ago. That's how he's playing right now. You can't... Carmelo, when they got him, was expected to be at least a 20-point scorer. It's supposed to be OK3. Remember? The big 3. Right now, it's the big 2. And if there's a third one, it's probably considered to be Steven Adams. It's not considered to be Carmelo Anthony. For the series, Carmelo's averaging 14 points per game, 6 rebounds on 37% shooting. Come on, man. That's not good enough. It's definitely not going to get you past a team like Utah when they have such an excellent defense. And Donovan Mitchell out here just killing. Now, Paul George, he's been playing well. His numbers for the series, he's averaging 27.3 points per game on 45% shooting, 42% from 3, which he was struggling with at the end of the regular season. Now, that's your big 3. And you have to put the blame on the players mostly, because they're the ones out there on the court trying to get a job done or not done. But to me, man, we cannot let Billy Donovan off the hook. Billy Donovan, with that talent, has to find a way to get them open, to get easy shots. He also has to find a way to stop Utah. When you have a rookie in Donovan Mitchell who's averaging 27 points per game on 45% shooting, 35% from the three, you're like, how's this rookie doing this? And you're like, okay, he's a scorer. He's going to get his opportunities. But you have Ricky Rubio averaging 18, 8 assists. Now, he's not shooting a high percentage. And that's what Ricky Rubio is known for, not being able to shoot. Being a great passer, great setup man who doesn't have a jump shot. He's just found fire in a few games here. But Kenny Smith did a great job in Game 4 of halftime showing how Russell Westbrook's obsession with stopping Ricky Rubio cost them defensively as a team. When you have Rudy Gobert rolling to the goal without the helper, helping the helper, and him getting free buckets because Russell Westbrook is missing his assignment of going down there and helping on the pick and roll because he's so locked on making sure that Ricky Rubio doesn't get open threes. Like Ricky Rubio getting an open three is what we're most worried about right now. He's not Kyle Korver. He's not Joe Ingles. So why are you worried about Ricky Rubio getting open threes? But you letting Joe Ingles get open shots. He's shooting 46% from the three-point line. 46% from the three-point line for Joe Ingles. You cannot allow that to happen. Especially when he's a known three-point shooter. This is what he does. He plays defense, and he shoots threes. If you only have to stop that, how are you not stopping it? You help off of Ricky Rubio. Or you help off of Derek Favors. You don't help off of Joe Ingles. And that right there comes down to coaching. You cannot allow three-point shooters to shoot open threes. It's what they do. It just boggles my mind that with the talent Oklahoma City has, and not just in the big three, you have good role players. Brewer's a good role player. Mentioned Steven Adams earlier, one of the best centers in the league. You have a decent bench. Raymond Felton's decent. I'm saying he's a good backup point guard. You got some other players in that bench who come in and do their job. And a lot of people ask, is Russell Westbrook overrated? It depends on how much you value the triple-double. If you think the triple-double is the end-all, be-all, then no, he's not overrated. You think that he's doing only things that God himself can do on the court. If you think triple-double is everything that it has been blown up to be since he averaged one the past 2 years. But I was here last year on this very show telling you guys the triple-double is overrated. Kawhi Leonard or James Harden should have been MVP last season. But because we're so enamored with numbers, we're like, oh my God, he got a triple-double. We have to make sure that he is MVP because he averaged a triple-double. How valuable is that triple-double really? Not that valuable. It's amazing. There's a reason he's only the second person to be able to do it. But what is the value of it to your team? The team is not affected in a positive way by your triple-double the way it's affected by James Harden's numbers that were nearly a triple-double. Or last year, Kawhi Leonard's numbers when he was doing it on both offense and defense. They had more of an impact on their team. And you see it now. Donovan Mitchell is having more of an impact on his team, and he's not getting the assist that Russell Westbrook might. But the way he's able to score the ball efficiently opens up shots for Ricky Rubio. It opens up hockey assists for everybody else. It has more of an impact. But Russell Westbrook isn't going to be a fall guy. It's going to be Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan is losing his job as we speak. As we watch it, it's happening. You watch somebody getting fired in slow motion right now. It doesn't look like he's up to the task of handling NBA personalities, NBA egos. Great college coach. And I did believe it was a good hire when they first hired him. I thought, okay, this guy was somebody who accomplished everything he could accomplish at Florida. Comes to the NBA, he's ready to go. But maybe he should have got a younger team that was on the come up. Maybe like a Phoenix is right now, a team that you can build with young players and everybody's looking up to you. But when you come into a situation where that first year you had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. A team that's already set to be a title contender. You coming fresh out of college, that could be too much. And there's no knock on him. I just think it was way too much, way too early for Billy Donovan. And can OKC come back? It's possible, but definitely not probable. It's not something that's going to happen. You're probably going to lose next game, to be honest with you. Utah's going to move on to play Houston in the next round. And you have to find somebody to blame. Now, Russell Westbrook, he's going to be there. He's already signed long term. He's a $200 million man. Paul George, probably gone. And probably to the Lakers. We don't know, though. I do have some ideas of other places he can go that I will discuss in a little bit here. But just got to give a big tip of the hat to Utah, man, for doing what they're doing right now defensively, just shutting down Russell Westbrook and Carmelo. Like I said, Paul George is a super talent. He's going to score the ball. But Billy Donovan's not ready for this. Just like Kevin Hart said, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. All right? And like I said, there's no knock on him. But somebody has to be a fall guy. I don't like predicting when people get fired, but Billy Donovan will lose his job after they lose Game 5. Now let's move on to another matchup that's already over. Pelicans swept Portland 4-0. Let's go Pelicans. Do it bigger. I'm a Pelicans fan for all people who may be new to the podcast. And my question to you is it all on Damian Lillard? We see all the memes. We know that Damian Lillard struggled during the series. To be exact, he only averaged 18 points per game on 35% shooting, only 30% from three. He had a rough series. And it wasn't just all Jrue Holiday. Of course, Jrue Holiday deserves a lot of credit. He put the clamps on him. But it was a team defensive scheme to where anytime Damian Lillard had the ball, they set a pick, he was getting trapped. Or they wouldn't trap hard, they would trap soft enough to where they can recover and get back to their players. It was just an excellent defensive scheme set up by the coaching staff for the Pelicans to shut down Damian Lillard. Now, when you have that, is it up to the coach of Portland, Terry Stotts, to adjust and to get your best player open, get him shots, get him opportunities? Now, Damian Lillard, as a veteran point guard, does have to find ways to get involved and score, or have other ways to impact the game where his team can win. Because once CJ got going, because CJ struggled the first game, but after that really got into the series. For the series, he averaged, get those numbers right here, get them correct. CJ averaged 25 points per game on 51% shooting, 43% from three. So CJ McCollum wasn't struggling. It was Damian Lillard not getting the points. And you don't have really that third person to step up. But when you have Damian Lillard getting shut down the way he is, and you see the scheme that New Orleans had running, it's up to Terry Stotts and that staff to find a new way to get Damian open. Damian Lillard as the player can adjust, but he can't. There's only a certain amount of adjustment he can make, which he did. He started to pass the ball a little earlier on the pick and rolls, which made New Orleans adjust a little bit to that. He got players open like Aminu, who shot well from three-point line during the series. Nurkic got some free rolls to the basket. But why not adjust as the coach for your whole offensive scheme? The Pelicans run their lineup with three guards. You got Rondo, Holiday, and Etuan Moore. So you basically got three guards out there with Mirotic and Anthony Davis. Why not match their small lineup and go with Shabazz, Damian Lillard, and CJ McCollum? If you have Shabazz Napier running point, and I love that Candace Parker made this point on Area 21 today. If you have Shabazz Napier out there running point, then you get Damian Lillard coming off of screens. You get to run different actions with him and CJ McCollum, maybe running baselines for each other and setting picks for each other and doing all different type of things that you can do if you have a different ball handler out there taking the pressure off of Damian. But you never did that adjustment. Why not take the ball off his hands instead of having that same pick and roll all day that New Orleans is like, okay, you're going to run this. We're going to keep trapping him. We're going to keep throwing these waves of defenders at him, make him give up the ball, and make Aminu beat us. Why not switch it up? There's a reason why Portland has lost 10 straight playoff games. You have to be able to make adjustments. Now, a lot of those playoff games in that streak were the Golden State and they're just a better team. And New Orleans is a better team that they proved in this series. But when you come in as a 3 seed and you were highly regarded all season, there's no excuse for you to lose in that fashion with no adjustment being made. You can't get swept by the 6 seed and we not look at the coach. There has to be a big level of responsibility and accountability for Terry Stotts. We can't all just look at Damian Lillard. Because as much as we just look at players and go over stats and go over what players did, coaching matters a lot. And Terry Stotts did not do a good job in this series at all. Now, I understand there was a bad matchup. You have nobody for Anthony Davis. Drew Holiday just went crazy. But your team defensive scheme should be able to take away a Mirotic dropping 30 in Game 3. Rondo getting 17 assists. Like, those are a little outrageous. Your team defense should be able to stop some of that. But you have to give a big hand clap to New Orleans for what they did in that series. Now for Portland, is it time to break up this current Portland team? I would have to say yes. You've underachieved the last few years. And this year was supposed to be the year that you were truly supposed to be a factor. You were supposed to be that team that pushed Golden State, that pushed Houston. But you get swept in the first round by the 6th seed? Yeah, bro, it's time to go ahead and break this up. Even if you decide to keep the coach, now you have to decide to trade either Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum. You have to get somebody, a wing player or a power forward who can take that pressure off a little to where you can't just trap him. If Damian Lillard is who you keep, let's say you keep Damian Lillard and you trade CJ McCollum. My idea is, since OKC's about to be out the playoffs anyway, try to get a sign and trade with CJ McCollum for Paul George. If Paul George is willing to go to Portland and play with Damian Lillard. Now, that's all up to Paul George. He has the choice to go anywhere he wants to after this year. But if he wants to go to Portland, that's one of his options. I would try to talk to OKC and see if we can get a sign and trade done to where he can get that full length of that max contract he gets for signing for his current team and go to Portland. Damian Lillard with Paul George, keep Nurkic, and you build around that, that could be nasty. Now, with this current team, there's no reason to keep it going. You haven't shown anything to make me think that it's worth going forward with. I want to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Today's episode of The Real Deal with Damian Adams is brought to you by Quip. Now, Quip is a company that is made for your oral needs. If you are a busy person on the go and you need electric toothbrushes with you, Quip is the place you should go. You go to tryquip.com/therealdeal. You get $5 off your refills. So that's tryquip.com/therealdeal. Get $5 off your refills for all your oral needs. That's tryquip.com/THEREALDEAL. Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. We were just talking about Portland and should they break up, and if they do, what should they do? And I thought the idea of maybe doing a sign-in trade, which depends on Paul George. He has all the leverage in the situation. But if he wants that full 5-year contract, do the sign-in trade with OKC. Why not do that? Why not try to get that difference maker on the wing who, if you have two guards, both kind of the same type of player, it becomes easier to take one of those guys out of the game the way New Orleans did. So I think Portland should break it up. Maybe even get a new coach, because the coach did a great job this season, in the regular season, but has not proven himself to be somebody who can make adjustments during the playoffs when coaching truly does matter more. New coach, make that sign and trade. Maybe we see Portland move a little further in the playoffs next year. But now let's move on to the Eastern Conference just for a little bit. We had Philadelphia today. They went ahead and got Miami out of here. Won that series 4-1. And they look unstoppable. You know, once they got Embiid back, they were definitely just the better, more talented team over Miami. Miami fought hard. They scrapped. They're well coached. But at the end of the day, when you have Ben Simmons and Embiid and Dario Saric and J.J. Redick and all the Bellinelli, they're not even playing Markelle Fultz right now. That team is loaded. And my question to you is Philadelphia the best team in the Eastern Conference? Now, that question is it's hard because they look great right now. You don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. But then you look at Toronto, who's the 1 seed, tied up with Washington right now. And they've lost to Washington in the playoffs before. So Washington could easily go in there in Game 5 and win that game and have Toronto with their backs against the wall looking to get eliminated by an 8 seed. Cleveland, they're struggling with the Pacers right now. They're tied 2-2. And that series looks like it can go either way. So who is the best team in the East right now? I picked the 76ers to come out of the East before the playoffs even started. And that pick is looking even stronger right now. Who can truly stop them in the Eastern Conference? There's no way you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers right now and you can be confident that they can beat the 76ers. There's no way you look at the winner of Milwaukee and Boston, because you got Boston, who's underhanded without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, just got Marcus Smart back tonight. There's no way you look at them and say they can beat the 76ers. No way. So you have to be honest and say the 76ers are definitely the front runner in the Eastern Conference right now and look like the best team by far. Definitely the one who have the most, they bring the most confidence with them. There's no reason why me as a viewer should have more confidence in Toronto or Cleveland or Boston or Milwaukee than I have in the 76ers. And now that they've gained a little experience and got this playoff victory against a tough-minded Miami team, what's going to stop them now? Because that was the big question. Would their lack of playoff experience hurt them in the playoffs? And when you have this much talent, you make new history. Because the history of the NBA is that you have to go through your aches and pains. You got to go through that first playoff loss. A lot of times you have a young team, like say the Thunder a few years back, and you lose to the Lakers in the first round your first time around. Then next year you come back stronger and ready to go. But this team here has a talent that creates new history. And I think they're going to do that. You heard me say it on The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. The 76ers are coming out of the Eastern Conference. You heard it here again. And let's talk about Cleveland. Right? They're tied 2-2 with the Indiana Pacers. I did not see this coming. I picked the Cleveland Cavaliers in 6, right? But after watching those first 4 games, I am not confident in Cleveland at all. There's no way I could be confident in that team and really believe that they're going to not only win this series, but win the Eastern Conference. Looking at the stats from this series, you got LeBron killing it right now, right? Averaging, let's start with just minutes per game. He's giving you 43 minutes per game. And I understand there's no back-to-backs right now, so he has this crazy amount of responsibility. And he can handle it with no back-to-backs, right? But he's giving you 32 points per game, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. But I do think it's taking the wear and tear on him. He's only shooting 28% from 3. And he was shooting a career high from three-point land last season and pretty good this year during the regular season. So you have to think that the fatigue of carrying the team is hurting him three-point wise when it comes to his shooting percentage. And he's not getting any help. The next highest guy in points per game is Kevin Love at 12. For Indiana, they have a very balanced group. You got Oladipo, of course, who is the leading scorer at 22 points per game. But you have Bogdanovic at 16, Miles Turner at 15. You got Lance coming off the bench doing his thing. You have players helping out. It's not all on Oladipo. LeBron, as great as he is, does need help. In all these years, he's had that second ball handler, somebody who can create off the dribble, create their own scores. And it's crazy, a lot of people who they got rid of in the middle of the season went to other places and started doing well. Derrick Rose, balling for the Timberwolves, doing his thing. Dwayne Wade in Miami, even though they lost the series, he played well. Isaiah Thomas started playing well in LA. All these people I'm mentioning are people who can create their own shot and can take some pressure off LeBron to create everything. LeBron literally has to create everything for this offense. And the Indiana Pacers, who are a very tough-minded defensive team, will be able to shut everybody else out. They're like, okay, we know LeBron's going to get his. We can't stop LeBron. But let's make it to where he's not getting the normal amount of assists he can get. The fact that he's getting 8 assists a game is just showing his greatness. Because their defensive scheme is set up to break that down and to beat that. And to stop that in its tracks. And he's able to still get his assist numbers even though the defense is set up against it. Because he is that great. But Kevin Love's out there with a torn ligament in his thumb. He's hurt. Can't depend on J.R. Smith, really. Rodney Hood's young. Who else? Clarkson's young. He's probably your second best ball handler, and he's young. You know, you got George Hill out there, who, I believe he's hurt. So you're out there with Calderon, who's about 85. He old as hell. So now, when it comes to this young Pacers team who's hungry, who's coming at you defensively and not backing down, LeBron can get you up by 16, but then he's got to take a little rest. Next thing you know, Pacers come storming back again. And that's why I believe that the Pacers will win this series. Starting tomorrow, they're going to win Game 5 in Cleveland, and then close it out in Indiana in 6 games. LeBron will lose his first-round series. And all you guys who always say, LeBron didn't lose in the first round like Michael did, you can stop saying that argument, okay? Michael Jordan lost to teams like the Boston Celtics, who won a championship in '86 in the first round. But we act like it wasn't the champions they lost to, or one of the greatest teams of all time. But now we do have our first second-round matchup set up and ready to go. The Golden State Warriors went ahead and took care of business tonight and finalized their series against the Spurs. So for our first second-round matchup, we have the Pelicans versus the Warriors. And I mentioned it earlier, I am a Pelicans fan, so it's hard for me to be objective in this series because I am rooting for the Pelicans. But I will try my best to. I want to break it down a little bit, matchup by matchup, and see what the Pelicans can do to beat the favorites. Because we all know the Warriors are going to be favored in this series. But how can the Pelicans upset them the way they did Portland? So first, is Steph going to be back? That's the big thing. Will Steph be healthy, and will Steph be back? And if Steph is back, is he quite 100%? Is he his normal self? Now, last year, or year before last, excuse me, he got hurt, had the knee problems, and he seemed like himself for a little bit. He had big moments against Portland. He had the moments where he came out and balled out in the fourth quarter and overtime. Had moments in the conference finals. Had moments in the finals of that year where they lost to Cleveland. But people still say he wasn't quite himself. Like the moments when he got shut down by Kevin Love. He wasn't able to move like he is normally able to move and adjust and wiggle away from big guys. Will he still have those problems? If he is not his self and is not able to create separation the way he does normally, that could be a big issue. Because now that means that New Orleans can switch on pick and rolls and have Anthony Davis out there sticking Steph Curry and not have to worry about Steph Curry doing them up and getting to the goal. Because as great as a defender as Anthony Davis is, a fully healthy Steph Curry is a bad matchup for anybody who's big. Anybody who's over 6'7", pretty much, to try to guard. Now, when you have Steph, you also have to worry about Clay coming off of picks and getting open and getting shots. And you know he doesn't take him any time at all to release the ball. Just like that, it's gone. And you still have Kevin Durant. It gets exhausting talking about how much talent this team has. And that's why I hated that Kevin Durant signed there, but that's a different story for a different day. And something that the Spurs try to do is make Draymond beat them. And that's a good strategy. Draymond has not been a good shooter this year. I believe he only shot 30% from the three-point line. So if you want somebody shooting threes, it would be Draymond. And at the 5, they're probably going to have JaVale McGee because you need somebody athletic at least to be able to make Anthony Davis work a little bit to score points. Because they put Zaza out there at the 5, Anthony Davis might get 70. So you got to put JaVale McGee out there to have somebody who's athletic enough to at least challenge Anthony Davis in some type of way. Now for New Orleans, if I was them, I would put E'Twaun Moore on Steph Curry. E'Twaun Moore is not the defender that Drew Holiday is, but we need Drew Holiday to be on Kevin Durant. And that's the problem with the lineup that the Pelicans run with the 3 guards. You have nobody who can match it with Kevin Durant at all. And I think that will be a difference in the series. So you put E'Twaun Moore on Steph, you can at least have somebody who you know is going to fight over the screens, especially if Steph's off the ball running around. E'Twaun Moore does have the energy and is a good enough defender to stay with him around those screens and run with them. Then I'll put Rondo on Clay. Now, Clay's going to be running around screens as well, but at least with Rondo you have a veteran defender who's going to at least make Clay dribble the ball. That's the key. Got to make Clay at least dribble the ball. The night when Clay scored 60, he only dribbled the ball 11 times. So Clay likes to be quick shoot, one dribble shoot, not use that much energy. Everything's real easy with Clay. Make Clay work. And you put Drew on Kevin Durant. No one on our team has the size to stop at Kevin Durant. Nobody in the league has the size to stop at Kevin Durant. But at least Drew can make him work. And because Drew is a bigger guard, stronger than most people think, Kevin Durant won't just be able to back him down. He'll have to go through an offense of moving the ball around and getting the ball in the right position and not just be able to take over. I think the key matchup is Mirotic versus Draymond. Draymond's going to have to stick Mirotic because Mirotic is going to be out there at three-point line. You don't want JaVale out there because JaVale's not going to want to go all the way out to the three-point line and stick Mirotic. Even though Draymond would probably want to stick Anthony Davis. If JaVale or Zaza is out there on Mirotic, Mirotic is going to get open shots. So Mirotic probably is not going to score as much as he did in the Portland series. But his job is just to keep Draymond occupied. Keep Draymond occupied to where Anthony Davis is able to go one-on-one against JaVale or Zaza or whoever's sticking him at the time. You get Drew Holiday with pick and rolls with Anthony Davis, and you have Mirotic on the weak side. If Draymond has to come over to help out, open shots for Mirotic. And Mirotic also can help out defensively. If he's sticking Draymond, he can be in the lane helping out, and he forces Draymond to be the one to shoot the ball. That's a very important player, Nikola Mirotic. He's been a godsend for us. Shout out to Ab Stanley, who wrote an excellent article on 3pointconversion.com that you can check out about how good Mirotic has been for the Pelicans and about the Pelicans as a whole in the playoffs. That's the key matchup. Mirotic has to be able to keep Draymond honest on both ends. Mirotic has been great at playing the pick and roll, hedging, getting back. And if he's able to assist in making Kevin Durant or Steph give up the ball and make Draymond shoot, that could be a difference in the series for Pelicans. And as a Pelicans fan, of course I want to pick the Pelicans, right? But as an objective sports journalist and podcast host, I have to go with the Warriors. But I do believe it's going to be a very tough series. And hopefully I'm wrong. I've never had to root against my prediction like this. But I'm going with the Warriors in 7. I do believe it's going to be a very tough series for the Warriors because they have no answer for Anthony Davis at the 5 position. None at all. And Anthony Davis is going to have some mega games during this series. I think Drew Holiday is going to have some really big games. Playoff Rondo's there. Like I said, I think Mirotic is not going to have as much success this series because Draymond is such a great defender. But if Mirotic only gets 6 points, but has Draymond pull out a lane to the point where Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis are able to score at a higher rate because of that, he's doing his job in that series. Will Alvin Gentry, because he's been with the Warriors, have an edge there? Remember, he was an assistant coach with them when they first won championship in 2015. Can he give us something that other coaches may not have? Come up with a defensive strategy to be able to slow them down in some way. The Warriors have such a great system of ball movement along with the endless talent of probably 3 of the top 10 shooters of all time on the same team at the same time. Klay, Steph, and Kevin Durant are 3 of the greatest shooters of all time in their prime on the same team. It's hard to beat, man. It's very hard to beat. And how can you beat that? You truly cannot. It's hard to do. But I'm going Warriors in 7 for my official pick, even though deep down inside I want to pick the Pelicans. And I am rooting for the Pelicans. The Pelicans win, I'll be glad to be wrong in this pick. But we'll see. So now we're going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we'll talk a little boxing. Because it is the episode about putting up or shutting up. And this weekend, did boxers put up or did they shut up? We'll be right back. Today's episode of The Real Deal with Damian Adams is brought to you by Vroom. Vroom is a site where you can go to buy cars and stay in your drawers, in your pajamas, at home. You go to shopvroom.com/the real deal. You can shop for your car, get it 8% cheaper than you would on the lot, and get it delivered to your house absolutely free. You get your Carfax on there, all your car history, used cars, new cars, big cars, small cars, blue cars, red cars, whatever cars you need are on vroom.com. So go to shopvroom.com/the real deal and get you a car today. Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Just got finished talking NBA playoffs. Let's talk a little bit of boxing. Now, this past Saturday, there was a huge card on Showtime. You had Gervonta Davis, Jermell Charlo, and Adrien Broner versus Jessie Vargas. So let's talk about Gervonta Davis first. Gervonta Davis came into the ring very focused, got a new trainer. Him and Adrien Broner have the same trainer. And in Gervonta Davis's last fight, he wasn't that impressive. He won off of pure talent, but his technique just wasn't there. And he noticed that. He said, I need to be more disciplined. And he got a new trainer, moved out of Baltimore, went to train somewhere else, and we saw the results. He dominated his opponent. His opponent was not somebody who is light work. Solyar is a former lightweight champion, who is not to be taken lightly. But in 3 rounds, Gervonta Davis picked this man apart. Was countering him, hitting him to the body, which just happened to be the ultimate end of the fight, was body shots. You know you're doing work when you end somebody with body shots. So he's countering with the left hand, countering with the right, hit him in the body, able to dodge, duck punches. He's doing everything. Looks awesome. He's now 20-0, 19 KOs, only 23 years old. And he's under Mayweather Promotions. Mayweather recently talked about Gervonta Davis. If he won this fight, will go on to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, Vasyl Lomachenko is a top guy at 130 right now. Some people say a top guy in the world. He's the top-ranked guy on a lot of pound-for-pound lists. Vasyl Lomachenko, very skilled. Somebody who makes opponents look crazy. He's made his last, 8 opponents quit? Not knocked them out. He made them quit. No mas. Give up. He made Guillermo Rigondeaux, very proud champion, somebody who for years has been that technician in the boxing game. Very good amateur background, 2-time gold medalist. He made Rigondeaux quit because he's such a great technician in that ring. Do you think Floyd Mayweather is doing the wrong thing by throwing Gervonta Davis into the fire this early in his career, 23 years old? Now, this is the big money fight. It definitely would generate a lot of interest. But is he truly ready for that moment? To go against such a polished fighter. Now, Gervonta Davis has great technique, great power. But would he be able to even touch Vasyl Lomachenko? Or should he wait a little while? Vasyl Lomachenko's in his prime right now. I believe Vasyl Lomachenko is 30. In his prime. He's seasoned. Gervonta Davis is not seasoned yet. Say he fresh out the package. The ground meat you ain't even washed yet. He's still not ready to be cooked. Vasyl Lomachenko's been cooked in the oven, in his prime, ready to go. I don't know if Gervonta Davis is truly ready for that challenge, but we don't know unless you put him in there, right? And if he's 23, he loses to Vasyl Lomachenko, he has time to recover and rebuild his career. And if he loses in a close fight, then it doesn't do any damage at all, really. So I'll be very excited to see if that happens later this year. Vasyl Lomachenko is set to fight Linares pretty soon, which will be a great fight. That's a really good fight coming up. The second fight on that card on Saturday, we had Jermell Charlo, one half of the Charlo twins, the one that's in middleweight at 160. He fought against Centeno Jr. and knocked this guy smooth out. Like, he knocked this dude out like Ray got knocked out on Friday by Debo. Like, it was smooth out. And you can see he has great technique with this power. And, of course, now he wants Triple G. Triple G's a guy at 160. He's the man. Especially with Canelo being out because he tested positive twice for banned substances. Charlo wants that spot. But for me, Triple G is going to be there. If he does not get Triple G, there's still other great matchups. You could imagine Jermell Charlo versus Daniel Jacobs. How beast of a fight that would be. How dope that would be. Those two powerful dudes going in there. And maybe neither one of them can knock each other out. They just going after 12 rounds. Just beasting it out. They both have good technique. Both can make adjustments on the fly. I think that would be an excellent matchup. Or he can go against Billy Joe Saunders. You think about Billy Joe Saunders, he just embarrassed David Lemieux in his last fight. David Lemieux is a power puncher, but is not as athletic or skilled as Charlo. I would love to see how Charlo would adjust to a Billy Joe Saunders, who is a very slick boxer. Now, Saunders doesn't have power, but he has pop. Somebody who's a very sharp puncher, somebody's going to keep your attention. Could Charlo handle that type of challenge before he gets Triple G? Now let's move on to the main event. You had Adrien Broner versus Jessie Vargas. Both of these guys are boxers who start off their careers as looking like they were going to be on the elite conversation list for a long time. And they both ran into trouble. Adrien Broner ran into Madonna, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia. Jessie Vargas ran into Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao. And all those fighters on that list that these guys have lost to are pretty good, right? Sean Porter, I don't think is that good a boxer, but he's got a lot of heart and he just goes really hard. And the guys that Vargas lost to, both Hall of Famers. Mike Garcia might be the best pound-for-pound guy in boxing right now. So there's no shame in Broner losing to that guy. Now, when they fought, Adrien Broner started off the fight by not being the guy that he said he was going to be. We've all been wanting Adrien Broner to let his hands go. For how long now? How long have we begged and pleaded with Adrien Broner to let his hands go and be more active in the ring? One of the problems against Mike Garcia was that he wasn't active enough. Didn't let his hands go. And this time he has a new trainer, the same trainer that Gervonta Davis has. And Gervonta Davis looked excellent. You could tell that the new trainer had an immediate impact on Gervonta Davis. Adrien Broner, not so much. The first 6 rounds, he has moments, but he's being severely outworked by Jessie Vargas. Jessie Vargas did a great job of jabbing, going to the body, going to the head, setting up with the right. Now, Jessie Vargas isn't a powerful puncher. Only 10 knockouts throughout his whole career. So my thing is, if you know you're going against a guy who isn't a powerful puncher, you're like, okay, I can take this guy's punch. Why not take a punch, catch and give? You can catch that punch and go and give 2-3 shots for taking one quote-unquote big shot from Vargas. Why not do that starting second, third round? Broner didn't start that until maybe the 6th round is when he started to be more active, catch those shots, and give his own. Because he has superior hand speed over Vargas. Why not use that earlier? And it wasn't like the trainer wasn't trying to get him to do that. The trainer was pleading with him, begging with him, cursing him out. Let your hands go. This guy can't punch. So if he can't punch, don't be scared to get a lick back by letting your hands go. And Broner has a pretty good chin. He's only been knocked down twice in his career, both by Madonna, who we all know has a hell of a punch. So why not let your hands go? So the fight ended in a draw. Now, I had it 115-113 for Broner. One of the judges also had it like that. But 2 of the judges had it 114-114. So it ended in a majority draw. And what do these guys do now? Because they're both trying to get back to being in the elite conversation. They're both trying to get to that table with Mikey Garcia, Vasyl Lomachenko, Anthony Joshua, Gennady Golovkin. They're trying to be in that conversation, pound for pound list. And Adrien Broner was on that list when he was younger. When he was Gervonta Davis' age, 4-time division champion. Jessie Vargas is on the verge of doing that. Now, what's next for these guys? They have to fight each other again. They have to have a rematch. Because the fight was a great fight. It was an absolutely great fight. Great comeback by Broner. Good action. Both guys landing punches, just seeing great technique in there. It gave us everything we wanted besides a winner. We need a winner out of this fight. So they should set up a rematch for as soon as possible. And when they do the rematch, you need a winner. And it should be Broner. Broner should be the winner of that fight. Because if he lets his hands go earlier, in this one, he wins. So in the rematch, Broner should come out. Maybe you fill each other out for the first round, maybe two. But by the third round, he should be taking off, letting his hands go. And you know you can take this guy's punch. He can't hurt you. Let him go. And Adrien, stop being ignorant, man. Stop saying ignorant stuff at the end of the... Come on, man. I understand that you're frustrated. You believe you want to fight. That's cool. Be mad that you didn't win. We want that. We want that competitive spirit. But you don't have to say all the ignorant stuff you said, man. I truly believe there's a good person underneath all the shenanigans of Adrien Broner. But you turn people off, man. Like, my dad's a huge boxing fan. The reason I'm a big boxing fan is my dad. And he no longer wants to watch you because you're so ignorant. Because you have to say things that are just not smart. Like, you're too old now. We're the same age. We're both 28. We're too old to be saying these things in mixed company. If you're hanging out with your boys, you can say pause, no homo. You can say some of the things you said about Mexican and black people with your homies, with no cameras, in the privacy of your own home. But on national TV, you don't say these things, Adrien. And why hasn't anybody tried? I can't say anybody hasn't tried to get to him. I'm pretty sure they have tried to talk to him. But Adrien, why don't you listen to people who are telling you this? Listen to your trainer when he says, let your hands go. Listen to your trainer when he says, 12th round, I need you to go out there and act like you need a knockout. Because we don't know what the judges are going to do. And one of the judges gave that 12th round to Vargas, which caused a draw. Because you didn't listen. Just listen. I don't understand, with so much talent, why you don't listen. And if you don't win the rematch of Vargas, your days of being prime time are done. You have to win the rematch with Vargas, and you should try to win it in a sustainable fashion by a good margin next time. So you put yourself next in that conversation so somebody else in that elite table wants to give you a fight. If you go up to 147, somebody else at 147 who's thought of highly wants to fight you. So now you can still continue to have your career. Because, like I said, you're only 28. You still have a good 6-7 years of being a boxer that you can have if you do it correctly. But I'm done talking. Hopefully Adrien or somebody who knows Adrien is listening to this. And here's my message and gets it to you, all right? But that's the end of today's episode of The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Please let your friends know about the show. All right, we're going to be coming back each and every week with guests, bringing you real sports talk for the real sports fan. Always being good, always being funny, bringing you that real knowledge. Remember to follow me on social media at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in Alpha on Twitter and Instagram. Like The Real Deal with Damian Adams Facebook page, and subscribe to The Real Deal with Damian Adams on YouTube, Spreaker, and iTunes. And until next time, go real or go home.